welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you're an oldie, welcome back, guys. So today I wanted to come on here and do a story time. This story time I've been wanting to do for a while. One, I wanted to bring awareness to the illness. Two, I just wanted to share because when I share my story, it helps me. And I always end up finding someone who, you know, dealt with the same situation I dealt with. And so with that, it brings me closer to other women who I can reach out to whenever I need some advice, whenever I'm at my very low points, and just in general, just to be able to connect with other women who have experienced the same thing I have. Maybe not even just women, just families in general, because I know that women are not the only ones dealing with this alone. But I'm just going to speak on my behalf as a woman and as a mother. So let's just get right into what I wanted to discuss today, guys, and that is dealing with death. Some may know a little bit of my story and some may not. So we're just going to start from the beginning and just give you guys some background and insight about what I'm explaining to you. So back in 2016, I found out I was pregnant, like in May. And then in August, I found out what I was having. I did a gender reveal, and you know, that's when you go get your ultrasound done and they're doing that thorough exam to check out the baby's head, their body, the measurements, all that, to make sure they're at the right measurements that they're predicting you to be, also telling you the sex of the baby. With that, the woman who does the ultrasound, she's not able to determine anything but just take the pictures and provide that to the doctor. So with that, she told us our sex. We kept going about our day. After my ultrasound visit, that Saturday or Sunday, I had my gender reveal, found out I was having a little girl, and then like that Monday, I received a call from my doctor's office telling me they noticed something regarding my daughter's brain, and they wanted me to come in. So, well, they were referring me to a maternal fetal care in the hospital that they wanted to refer me to go see a specialist so that they could, the neurologist there could examine her ultrasounds as well as do an actual ultrasound and just see what they see. So I was automatically panicking, crying, calling my husband, like, you know, they telling me this, like, what do they think I'm supposed to just keep going about my day knowing that something could be wrong with my child? So I left work and I just went to the hospital. Like, I was just like, I already went to the hospital. I'm like, I'm waiting for them to call me because when they tell me they have an appointment, I'm like, I'm here. Let's go. So I go to the hospital. We finally get an appointment. We get in there. And they do the ultrasound. And so with the ultrasound, they kind of told, okay, so there was a couple of things that was wrong. One, my daughter suffered from spinal bifida. They were saying that the cases that she had didn't look that bad from the ultrasound, that she could probably, once they close it up, she may have a slight chance that she could walk, she could have control of her bowels, and she may be able to have the same mobility as if she never had it. So that was one thing they saw. The other thing is that they said that she suffered from this disease called holoprosencephaly. So because I want to be accurate with this information I provide to you guys, I'm going to read the direct definition of it so that you can be aware, and I'm also going to link some information below, but I just want to be direct in this video. Well, she suffered from this disease called holoprosencephaly. It is a cephalic disorder in which the procephalon, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce all these words correct, the forebrain of the embryo fails to develop into two hemispheres. Normally, the forebrain is formed and the face begins to develop in the 5th and 6th week of pregnancy. So with this, it's basically saying that with her brain, it did not fully develop. As we all have the left and the right hemisphere, hers did not fully develop or separate. And in fact, when we did further x-rays and exams, she had retained fluid as well. And basically, they said if there was any chance of her living, she would basically need me to do everything for her. As far as just basic, she would just be here in the best way to put it. They said that she would, I mean, there was different chances because with that disease, there's different stages. And for her, she had the worst, and that's called a lobar. And so with that, because with the holoprosencephaly, you can have where your right doesn't fully develop, or it's like different stages. And so with that, she had the worst case where hers did not form, and she had some fluid retained as well. So with that, knowing that, after we finally spoke with someone, a specialist, we just try to process it all. For me, myself, I'm a very big believer in my faith, and definitely began to pray. Just I had that was my initial thought, but my first initial feeling, like my thought and my feeling, I mean, that might sound like it's different, but I had two different ones. When I was sitting in the office, I can recall it like it was yesterday. Like the doctor was sitting in front of me, and they pulled it up on the screen, and they just showed us the x-rays of her brain. And she explained it to us that basically the percentage of her living was like basically zero. But the point that I found out everything, I was at a point, and I'm not saying that this was ever an option, because it was not an option, but I was at a point where any termination or any cancellation of the pregnancy was past that. I was like 20 something weeks. And so I was at the point, like, knowing this and still have to carry a child full term. So my mind is just like, God, like, I know you talking to me, but you gotta talk to me. I was just feeling all these type of emotions. Like, it all just seemed like it can't be true, because like but let me just take it back to that point. When they told me that, I just started crying. Like, in that moment, I just started crying. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like, his aunt was trying to consult us, like, you got this, you're gonna be all right. Like, I was just heartbroken, because I'm such a girly girl. Like, I just like, oh, I'm finally getting a little girl, because I have my first child was my son. And so like, oh, I'm finally getting a girl, I'm so excited, I'm so ready. And then to hear these things, it's just like, I still get like chills right now about it, because I'm trying not to cry too, but it's just like, have you ever been so close to a dream that you could feel it, and then it just be instantly taken away? So I feel like that was like some of the emotion that I was feeling at that moment. And so I think that's one of the ways I can put into words how I felt. So let's just process that, and then fast forward to so her due date was January the 13th, but I had her on December the 13th. So, well, actually January the 11th, but it could possibly be the 13th because my grandma's birthday, but the 11th was her due date. But fast forwarded to 8 months, and I had her on December the 13th. I remember I was at work, and I just kept feeling some cramps. And I was like, maybe this is normal. I mean, I didn't think it was going to keep going, but they were consistent to the point I started to get uncomfortable. So I said, maybe I need to call my doctor, especially given all that I'm going through. I was like, let me call my doctor and, just let them know what's going on and see what they say. So when I told them that, they told me to come in. When I went to the doctors, they checked me. I was already 3 centimeters dilated. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, I can't, it's not time yet, And then on top of that, my son's birthday is December 22nd. And I had plans to have his birthday party on the 17th. Remember that, y'all, because it's going to make it's going to all connect. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, no, I can't have a baby right now. Like, I got to have a party. After the party, we can do it, So she was like, no, I need you to go to the hospital right now because you're actively in labor. So we went to the hospital. Well, first, because this wasn't my first child, I knew what was going to happen. So I was at the hospital. I called my husband. I'm like, I want to go get us some food. We went to, no, wait. I did go to the hospital first. Actually, I scratched it. I'm sorry, y'all. I went to the hospital. Well, I went to my husband's job. Got him. He came out. I remember on the phone with my mother-in-law. I was like, ooh, having contractions in the car. I was like, he need to come on. He playing. She's like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen right now. So we finally get to the hospital. So we get to the hospital, and they already pull up the information, background about me, my pregnancy, everything. So they say, our NIC unit is full. they don't have any accredited staff that can assist us. They're about to nobody to really who can cater to my specific needs for my pregnancy. So, but just a note, we already knew that this birth was going to have to take place in another hospital because the hospital that we were assigned to, they were going to be equipped with staff, surgeons, the surgeon that could perform the closure of her spinal bifida, doctors and staff that would be able to cater to her like we need her to be. So we already knew that, but I mean, I didn't expect I was going to be going into labor a whole month before, so we just was trying to go with the flow. So we literally had to go from one city to the next. All this going on, I was in labor. Like, not labor like the crazy stories, but I was just experiencing contractions, I should say. And so finally we get to the women's hospital in that city, and they checked me, and I'm like 5 centimeters. So they ended up, at this point, I was 5 centimeters when they put me into a room. At this point, my husband had to go get our son, get him situated and all this. It was just a lot of unplanned things occurred. So finally, we are in there that day, and fast forwarded to 6 o'clock that morning. I give birth to my daughter, and I heard like a little cry, and then they took her over there, got her situated, and in the midst of all that, if you've ever had a kid, okay, so that's another thing. When I had my son, I never got that lay on chest feeling. My son actually had him, I think, at 41 weeks, and he ended up using the bathroom and swallowed some. So as soon as he came out, they cleaned him, they showed me him from over there, and then they took him straight to the NICU unit. So then here's my daughter. They was over there cleaning her up. The doctor was getting me together, and throughout my pregnancy, I had to go see different physicians, and they had me prepare. They had me to prepare some things for the what ifs. And one of the what ifs is if she didn't make it, what was my next steps? And we decided to do whatever you had to do to make her comfortable, you know, so that she didn't have to feel any pain or whatever her body couldn't process or form in my womb. So they were working on her, and they were checking her heart rate, and her heart rate began to drop. So they informed us that her heart was dropping. So I told them to do what they needed to do to make her comfortable. They went to get her comfortable, and that was like around 6:02, 6:05. And when they brought her back, they told me she passed away at like 6:45. And so she didn't even live with, she couldn't even make it an hour of living. I was okay with them taking her because I don't think I would not have been mentally okay if I had to watch my child take her last breath. I just think, like, for the betterment of her, it was best that she would be in qualified healthcare hands. If that, like, one of them transitioned, they already told me her heart rate was dropping. So when they asked me did I want to clean her up and give her a bath, I said no. I did have that option before, and they had already told me about it, but I just like, I would just rather them do all that, you know. So when they brought her back to me, it was a very intimate moment, because even though they said all they said, I was still throughout my pregnancy being able to feel her move and all that. And so that was my bonding time, that because after the 4th month, I knew from then until then, like, this was all I had. Like from 4 months to whenever I had her, those were my time with her. So I try to just like enjoy that, embrace those moments. But I remember many of nights where I would wake up at like 6 in the morning to be exact, and I just would get up and pray. I was just trying to be optimistic about it, the situation, more so than anything else. Because even when I was in the hospital, I kept saying, well, if she make it, she's going to go to the NICU automatically. And then my husband just kept like looking like, stop saying that type of situation. Because we knew that I just trying to be positive. I think I was trying to be also being selfish too at the same time. So, yeah. I think that's just was a lot for me. So I try to experience whatever little bit of time we had together. It's really a lot. Very emotional. I'm sure anybody can imagine. But the worst days were really not the days that happened at that moment or prior. It was really the days after. It was really rough. Like, it was really rough. I don't think I've ever in my life planned to bury my child or planned any type of funeral arrangements for my child. And I never planned on ever having my child and leaving the hospital without him. And I had to do that. I think I was in the hospital for like a day. I feel like for me, I just kind of like was feeling like this should be the other way around. Like my kids should be preparing for me, not me. Trying to figure out where to go, who to see, like how the best way to go about this. So it was just a lot. So the emotions for the next couple stages really threw me out. And I think people really didn't understand. Like the initial thing when something goes wrong with somebody is people to try to be there and comfort them. But I didn't want, like, that was just too much for me. I wasn't like closing people out, but I didn't want people to be on me to try to see how I'm doing. So it was like I didn't really want visitors, like people just being extra, not extra, but I didn't want all that. So friends and family try to reach out, just like, thank you, I appreciate it, you know, I'm good. You know, I'm not good, but the more you try to comfort me talking about it, it makes it worse, if that makes sense. And on the 13th, my daughter passed away. On the 17th, I was having my son's birthday party. And I felt the need to continue to do this because my son didn't even, he was, I think he just turned, what was that? He just turned 2. So he had not mentally understood everything. Like he knew, but he didn't like get like sissy not here. He don't even, to this day, my son doesn't know that he had another sister. So I think that I just wanted to keep his life as normal as possible. So trying to deal with my daughter's trying to deal with my daughter's death and then throw my son a party and be smiling in front of everybody, like it's just a whole nother situation. So for me, from after I had my daughter, it was like back to normal. And I think I just tried to I had my moments, but I didn't try to like deal with, you just gave birth to a kid and you had to prepare arrangements for your daughter to be cremated. And now I'm about to take my daughter home in a box. The only memory I have of my child is in a box. Like, and that's not even being like, that's real life. I have a box with all the belongings of my child that they dressed her in, the pictures they took, all of that is in a box. Like, I still can't get myself together, like, to think. So I have a box my sister made for me. It's like a chest, and it has all my daughter's belongings in there. And sometimes I go in there just because I like to smell her blanket, just look at the stuff. Like, it's crazy to me to know that my child is in this box. And on a necklace, my husband did buy me, they have cremation necklaces that you can wear, and you could put a little bit of the remainings in there, and so I wear it sometimes, but I don't think I ever really truly processed the death of my daughter. So one thing I remember that this nurse, I wish I had her information here from it. I haven't been able to find it, and it may be in the box, but she got me this journal. And throughout this process, she told me to write in the journal, you know, it's like as a therapy session. And recently, since I've had my daughter, my third child, I found myself going back and just going back, because another reason I wanted to put this video is because I find myself now dealing more with the death and the grief of my daughter than I was before I had my second daughter. And I don't know if it's because I'm having another daughter, or just seeing my son and my daughter together and just imagining how it would be with all three of my kids. So I'm going to read a part from my journal. Yeah. So this was the first entry, and this was on December the 1st, 2016. Today I'm writing a prayer out for my baby girl, Jayla. I pray that God heals you, and that everything they placed on you is not longer in your body, but that you're healed. I pray your brain separates into the two hemispheres God designed your body to have, and that you have a left and a right. I pray the opening in your spine closes, and that you don't suffer with any delays in walking or uncontrol of using the bathroom. But if anything is not in God's plan, then I pray that you know Mommy and Daddy love you more than you could ever imagine, and that you know that we will do or have done or our best. We know how to make the best choices for you. Also, we want you to have the best life your heart could ever be filled for, because you're worth it. Love you, Jayla May, from Mommy. And that was my first entry. I might have other ones too, but this helped also. It just kind of like cleared my mind some. But the main thing, I just wanted to share my story with you guys. I do want to say that I found myself more dealing with my daughter's death now than I did before, and I'm learning how to cope with it in different ways. And I find that the more I talk about it, the better I feel. And so I wanted to just come on here real quick and share my story about my experience with death, how to deal with death. I'm just taking it day by day and just continuing to stay strong and pray. I still have my moments. I still have my cry out in the shower. I still have my moments I'm just driving in a car and I just break out and cry. But I feel like it's nothing wrong with that, because I'm human, and I'm a mother with 2 kids. And I reflect back on, like, wow, I could be sitting here with 3 kids, you know, just like little stuff like that. But it just reminds me it humbled me a lot, I will say that. Because I found myself a lot in this process, like, why me? You know, type of situation. Like, why did God choose me? Like, why? What did I do wrong or something like that? I had those thoughts. But a lot of scripture helped, and we really focused on the book of Job and how they just really reflected on how, like, he can use anyone. So instead of me having it, why me? I had the mentality of why not me? And it just really just humbled me to a point where if I ever felt like I was untouchable, I'm not. And I've dealt with death before, but this one just hit a little different for me, and I still deal with it. I would definitely advise anyone to seek professional counseling. And that's just because how I deal with it could be totally different from how anyone else can deal with it. And if you're not sure how you're dealing with it, or how to, you know, how to remove those negative thoughts, then you definitely should seek some professional counseling, because I'm not going to tell you that it's easy to deal with it. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be a smooth, easy road. It's hard, and it's a daily, daily, it's a daily task. But I just wanted to share this story time and just advise anyone who's going through to stay encouraged, stay prayerful, have the faith that God has placed on you, and know that you're not alone. And just believe that this is all a part of God's plan. Even though people always are so quick to throw on the fact that if we're Christians, we're supposed to just have this perfect life, and that's not true. And so I just, whatever the test that you're going through, just remember to keep the faith and know that this is a part of God's plan, however it may play out. But guys, I really just wanted to come on here and share with you. Like I said in the beginning, me sharing my story really does put a sense of ease to my mind. Not like it doesn't go away, but I just, the more I talk about it, the more like I'm like feel comfort in knowing that she's in a better place and she's okay, and that we will meet again, and I will see my baby girl. But I just feel like, you know, I have my moments still, and I still have my, even though I know like I have that why not me, I still have that why me, like when I see other people like post pictures and stuff. And so sometimes I kind of like take a step back from social media, because some people, they're not intentionally trying to do anything, but it's like people don't know how certain things can affect someone who can be smiling. Because I smile all the time, and that's just my personality, but a lot can be hidden behind a smile. And so I just really wanted to share my story with you guys, because I just feel like it can encourage someone else, because today I'm stronger than I was yesterday. And then tomorrow I probably will be stronger than I am today. And I just feel like it's a process. And no one knows the right or wrong way about this. It's just trying to take the steps to better yourself. But guys, I just wanted to really truly come on here, share my testimony, just share my story about how I dealt with death. I wanted to come on here and also share just some encouragement to someone, bring awareness to it, and just really help my dealings with it. But guys, I want to thank you guys for listening to my story. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out, if you watched the whole video, for listening to me, joining my therapy session, helping me bring awareness to holoprosencephaly as well as spinal bifida. I definitely just wanted to let you guys know to stay encouraged, and know that if I can do it, you can do it. But guys, I just really wanted to come on here and share my story. Thank you guys for listening to me. As I said before, the more when I talk about it, I feel it helps me. So I wanted to share my story. This was just one of the very roughest, I guess this was one of the roughest times I had to deal with death outside of my grandmother's passing. So I just really wanted to share my story with you guys and bring some awareness to some things, and just really just let this be my therapy session. I definitely appreciate the prayers, the people that continue to reach out to me 3 years later just to check in on me, because it really means a lot. Because I think people think in that moment they reach out, but like as time progresses they slowly back away. But I appreciate the ones that continue to reach out to me randomly too, and just checking in on me. I really, they don't even know how much that means. It's always the randomest moments that catch me sometimes before I have a moment. And I just really appreciate that. And people know that I appreciate that because they check on me, not even asking, you know. So I really appreciate that, and I love everybody. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.